Hello guys. Hello guys. My name is Nelson,
My name is Bruno Mello.
and today we're gonna start our first episode from the second season, which is in English. I just thank you, Bruno, about bringing me this BHAG to try to make all this in English. We have received a lot of people asking, why episodes are not in English. I just love, but I can't understand a word in Portuguese. So it is a
Yeah,
big help for you guys to,
yeah.
learn a little bit about Portuguese. So this is a new start from the second season. We're gonna try to do as much as we can is in English.
Yep.
It will be a big help for me because I don't practice English too much, but hopefully we can make all these episodes in English. So.
His English is good. He wants compliments and stuff like that. This is because his Spanish is so much better than most. His like you know he just wants to be perfect.
Okay, well,
Just kidding.
at least
Just
just to,
kidding.
to give the the powerful about
Yeah,
having this talk show.
yeah,
So
and we really hope that doing in English will bring more people into discussing about the topics and helping even more people be become interested in agile as as we've said before in season one. uh, we want to bring to you all the reasons why we love all of this, why we fell in love with agile, right? That's why we do this. Is because we really believe there's a beautiful message behind it. So that's the main reason, and of course, our colleagues and peers and partners have asked us to do it in English, so we're going to try. And of course, well, there's a new idea for season two, right? Season one, we had most of it done with specific topics and most like the mindset thing behind it, like co-location and MVP. So all these um, behavioral components, right?
hmm
And now for season two, we want to structure more dedicated to practices,
practices, yeah,
which anyway we'll have plenty of opportunity to discuss values and principles as well, right?
yeah, true.
That's
And
that's the reason.
yeah, and honestly, I think the practices is pretty important at this time because after years of this journey, like other countries have started before and other ones late, but they are all going to the same direction. I think that practices it will be good and important that people can understand why they are using such practices.
Yeah.
You know.
And to that point that you made last season, where in 2018 is expected to have 3 out of 4 IT companies using Agile. There's basically transformation is ongoing, so
Mhm.
people are already doing these things. So I think it's very good timing for sure.
Cool. Okay, so taking about practices, we're gonna start this first episode talking about Scrum, which is one of the frameworks that we have
Yeah,
inside this Agile umbrella,
yeah,
right? With a lot of other frameworks as Kanban, Lean, XP, right? Crystal. So we decided Scrum because we live just next to these guys after this
well,
behind this wall with the CIO that they use pretty much Scrum and some other areas as
yeah,
projects using Scrum. So we decided
yeah,
that it will be just we won't cover all like deep inside each one of the heat roles we have on Scrum, but we're gonna just tell you guys about which is each one
yeah,
and maybe a high level why they use such. So today
yeah.
the overview will be
Scrum.
Scrum.
And also for the operations guys and girls, um, what we have seen for operations is pretty much like a modified format of Scrum, right? With a couple of tweaks
Cool.
and
I just
changes.
love it.
And some companies are creating some practices like social contract is not something that is seen on Scrum, but we will cover that as well. So we will be bringing on top of the normal expected Scrum format, we will be bringing other ceremonies
Ceremonies. That's the
which
word.
we've learned and we've used and we really like and believe they have a very important impact as well. So the reason why we chose Scrum Overview now is so that we can set the expectations for the rest of the season. And so for every episode that we're going to do going forward, we will talk about one practice at a time, so the episodes will be shorter.
Yeah, we're trying.
Shorter. Yeah.
We are trying to
We'll
make
try.
it. We are
So go
trying.
ahead.
Okay, so one of the first ceremonies, as Bruno said, and thank you for the word. I was just I just forgot that one.
Yeah.
It is the product backlog, right? And the reason of having the product backlog is just to the team understand what are the features or the stories,
User stories,
projects, everything that the team needs to
Yeah.
do, right? And
Yeah.
and I think that it comes with associated to the. I just throw the paper out, so I'm sorry. So I think it's pretty much associated to the social contract. And I think that to have like a product backlog, you need to have the team formed, map it, address it, everything in a way that they can visualize and understand the outcome.
It's important to always try, now that it's going to be possible, but always try to make a parallel between the purpose of using each of these ceremonies for DevOps and for operations in project management, which are different. In operations, I'm sure most of you don't use user stories, but just a side
Yeah,
comment.
that's for sure.
And then sprint planning meeting. Sprint planning meeting, similar to backlog refinement. So the backlog is defined by a product owner. The sprint planning meeting is where whenever the product owner decides which tasks or user stories are going to be worked on, the team defines what's going to be delivered in a specific sprint. And sprint is the whole cycle, right? So for those that are accustomed to other terms, you can also call a sprint an iteration. So iteration and sprint is the cycle, and the sprint planning meeting is when the team defines what they can deliver in that particular sprint, which will eventually determine the velocity. But we will get into the details on these things later on.
Yeah, and good thing about talking about velocity, because when you start, and it is out of topic, okay? So when you start, you won't know your velocity, right? So that's
Right.
why we call iteration zero, which you
Good
do
point.
try the first sprint, see the
Yeah.
results, learn corrections, stipulate how many points you can do on a sprint. So it's just out of topic. So don't worry, because velocity, you will learn how to measure that, right? So at the first time you won't have it. So start, then you will visualize and then understand and do the
Good
corrections. So related to the planning meeting, there is the sprint backlog, which is pretty associated with that. I think that it comes next one to the other one, because at that time you will visualize the thing that needs to be done, what will be the stories that will go first, and the second one and the third one,
Priority.
right? What will be the people
Yeah.
that will take one of the cards, like we call these cards, right? It will be, each person will be responsible for each feature or stories that are associated.
And for this particular part, each of these things, like the sprint planning meeting and the sprint backlog, depending on the ceremony, there's recommended members of the squad to participate or not.
Awesome.
So the product owner might be involved. Like the product backlog is product owner and Scrum Master, and then the backlog, the sprint planning meeting has the whole team and the product owner and the Scrum Master. But the sprint backlog doesn't have the product owner. But then again, we're gonna go into the more into the details later. But that's there's differences between these things, which we will cover in more details. But the purpose is more, this is the structure. These are the main ceremonies that serve a specific purpose, and we'll go to the purpose.
Awesome. I just love one thing you said, the participation of the product owner. It depends, the values and how cool the team feels, like we're having how connected is
how
the
safe
product.
they feel.
So that's why we
Trust levels.
we mention a lot a lot of times about values, and there is a reason of it.
Relationships.
Maybe you can have like if you have a good relationship, the product owner can be in all the rituals. Sometimes no, but it's not
Yeah.
mandatory.
It's not mandatory. Yeah, it's a great point.
Awesome. So then, afterwards, in the daily basis, we got one of the crucial um, ceremony, which is the stand-up, and there is a reason of having it, because if you define a lot of a few actions or a few tasks to be done on that sprint, you need to visualize how things are are being doing. You know, if there is any blockers. I think that the most important word on the stand-up is blockers.
Yeah.
Because if you have blockers, you can, you know, stop what you're doing to help the team to eliminate the blocker, and then you can deliver what has been proposed.
That's what Steve Carago from the CIO, well, no, the Academy, the Agile
Okay.
Academy, keeps reminding us of is that the main purpose of the stand-up is to fail fast and fix fast, like course correct fast. So we've seen like examples of people asking, why do we have to do it every day? Well, the purpose is this, to fail fast and fix fast, which is basically what he said.
Awesome.
Just wanted to make a point about, you know, what Steve is helping us with on a daily basis.
Alrighty,
He's
so
an agile coach.
yeah, awesome. We invite you to see one of the interviews we made with
Yeah,
Steve.
we'll
So.
put a link below.
Okay, so afterwards, we got, you know, after the sprint is getting over, we got a ritual which will be the sprint review, where the team will visualize everything has been done, right? And I think that next to this one it comes, you know, this one. I'm sorry, which is the showcase. Why the showcase is not, maybe people are asking why it's not coming the retrospective in here. It's just because the retro will come after the showcase, because you will see the what has been done, right? And then it goes where you present to someone. The product owner might be, you know, a team leader or a manager, but you're gonna present the results of the efforts you guys have worked on these 2 weeks or 4 weeks, and then
So sprint review, I'm not familiar with. So sprint review is basically looking back to what was delivered
the sprint, yeah.
and then deciding what goes into the showcase.
And so,
So this is a team based, like a squad based meeting, and then the showcase is a presentation which
Where
involves
everybody,
product owner, potential clients, and
all the
everybody,
stakeholders,
all the
that's it.
stakeholders.
All the stakeholders.
And then the last one is our beloved retrospectives. It's where we look back
the retro
and assess what was good, what was not that good, which needs and requires attention to, and potential ideas. Some people put like a light bulb for ideas. Some people use what's still puzzling us, like that. That's one of the, you know, the formats that we've seen. So we also invite you all to discuss your experiences on those practices. So this is it, right?
Right, yeah. Simple, easy, fast, but
straightforward.
I just want to remember one of the things about retros. Remember when we were talking with Thiago, the coach
Cerimonies.
that left? Yeah, that left.
Chito.
We were mentioning about how important is retro, because it allows you to visualize again your social contract. Because if you have behaviors that broke your social contract, on the retro it will come up, right? And also the retro, it is an opportunity to identify all the failures. That won't say failure, but the things that, you know, could be improved. So next time or the next iteration or the next sprint, you will just avoid the things that did not work on the sprint. So that's why, you know, Rodolfo Taboada, which is one of the CIOs,
leaders,
yeah, he mentioned, and we agree that the retro is pretty much one of the most important ceremony on Agile.
Yeah, so as you guys see, not a lot of practice. It's very concise, consolidated, structure, and that's the whole purpose of it. It's not making it complicated. It's not making it difficult or painful. It's making it easier. So hopefully, with this package of meetings, if you will, like ceremonies, right, that we call it, We don't like calling meetings. Everything that is agile based, we prefer ceremonies or things like that. Hopefully, this package will allow you to eliminate most of your additional meetings that you have in your day,
Awesome.
allowing you to actually do the work.
And then it comes the co-location.
Yeah, that's our last real episode of season 1, which we talk about that a little bit. It's very interesting, very fun, especially for DevOps and creative teams, design teams. Co-location is gold.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's it, guys. This was shorter. I think we're getting better at this. How do we get better? I think we're getting
talking
better
in English.
And in English. Oh yeah. All right. This is great. Congratulations on accepting the challenge and of course nailing it. You see, you guys saw. That's great. Great English. It's just Thanks,
Okay,
man.
guys.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us. See you next time.
Be colored. Be happy.
Yeah.
Be agile.
Yeah, I'm black today. It's fine.
But you got tattoos colored.
Yeah, I'm colorful. My skin is colored. It's colorful.
Okay,
Talk
guys.
show.
Later.
Later.